Picture this. Friday evening. Company mixer at a marketing agency in Fayetteville, Arkansas. You're standing near the bar holding a drink you didn't want, wearing a sport coat your wife picked out. Across the room, she's leaning into a man you've met exactly once. Her hand is on his arm. She's laughing, not her real laugh, the one she saves for audiences. She angles her body just slightly, just enough so you can see from across the room. She wants you to see. Her best friend is 3 feet away, phone in hand, watching your face like a referee waiting for a foul. You take a sip. You turn to the bartender. How are the Razorbacks looking this season? That was my wife. That was my Friday. My name is Tommy Jennings. 9 years of marriage. 9 years of reading rooms. Reading people. Reading the space between what someone says and what they mean. I run a logistics consulting firm out of our home office. Supply chains, distribution networks, timing. My whole career is about watching systems and finding where they break. Bertie never understood that. She thought my calm meant I wasn't paying attention. She was counting on that. The man she's leaning into is Rodney Marsden. Her coworker. Recently promoted. Drives a new Audi. Runs marathons. Bertie's been mentioning him at home for 6 weeks, casually, like she's talking about the weather. His promotion. His presentation to the board. His half-marathon time. Each mention a little louder than the last. Flora Ashford catches my eye across the room. She's Bertie's best friend, an architect of situations, not buildings. She's waiting for something. I can see it in the way she holds her phone, camera ready, like she's documenting an experiment. I order another club soda and ask the bartender if he caught the national park evacuation on the news. Volcanic eruption somewhere out west. Rock storm. He hadn't heard. Bertie glances over. I raise my glass. Smile. Her face tightens. Just for a second. Then she laughs louder, leans closer to Rodney. Here's the thing about being a tactician. People mistake patience for passivity. They think because you don't react, you don't see. I see everything. I just don't show my cards until I know what game we're playing. That night, driving home, Bertie's in the passenger seat, arms crossed. You didn't even come over, she says. You look like you were having a good time. That's it. That's all you have to say. What would you like me to say? She stares out the window. Rodney said you seemed distant. Rodney doesn't know me. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe nobody does. I keep my eyes on the road. Hands at 10 and 2. The radio's on low, something about oil prices and the White House. I turn it down. I know you, Bertie. She doesn't answer. But her jaw is working, and I can see her reflection in the window glass. She expected something tonight. She didn't get it. Saturday morning. 7 a.m. I'm at my desk reviewing a distribution contract when my phone buzzes. Flora Ashford texted Bertie, but Bertie left her phone on the kitchen counter while she showered. The preview. He didn't even flinch. A man who loves you would have dragged Rodney outside. Tommy doesn't care, B. You deserve someone who fights for you. I read it twice. Set the phone back exactly where it was. Poured my coffee. Went back to work. Stay with me here. That text told me 3 things. 1. Last night wasn't spontaneous. It was staged. 2. Flora was the director. 3. Bertie was looking for a reaction I deliberately didn't give, and now she's being told my calm means I don't love her. They wanted jealousy. They got data. Monday. Bertie comes home from work. Drops her bag. Stands in the kitchen doorway. Rodney got promoted again. VP of Client Services. 38 years old. Good for him. He drives an Audi S5 now. That's a nice car. His marathon time is 3:22. I look up from my laptop. Is there something you want to ask me, Bertie? I'm just making conversation. No, you're not. She holds my gaze for 3 seconds, then walks out. I hear the bedroom door close. Not a slam, a controlled click. Bertie doesn't slam. She calibrates. 2 weeks later, everything shifts. Not because of Rodney. Because of my back. I herniated disc, L4, L5, the kind that drops you to your knees in the kitchen at 6 a.m. while you're reaching for a coffee mug. Surgery scheduled within the week. The procedure goes fine. The recovery is where the marriage breaks. First night home. I'm in a back brace, can barely get from the bed to the bathroom. Bertie stands in the doorway of our bedroom with a pillow under her arm. I'm moving to the guest room. Your tossing and turning keeps me up, and I have a pitch Monday. Could you help me adjust the brace? The strap in the back. I'm not your nurse, Tommy. She says it flat. Not mean, not cold, factual. Like she's reading a job description and finding a task she didn't sign up for. I lie there. Ceiling fan turning. Back screaming. Alone. That was September. She never moved back. Physical therapy starts the following week. 3 sessions a week at a clinic off College Avenue. My therapist is Anita Jarrett, mid-30s, direct, knows her work. First session, she asks how I'm sleeping. Guest room. My wife says I toss too much. Anita pauses. After spinal surgery, everyone tosses. It's the inflammation. Does she know that? I think she knows. Anita doesn't say anything else. She adjusts my lumbar support and hands me an exercise sheet. Second session, she brings a lumbar pillow, the kind you can't find at regular stores. For the guest room, she says. Should help with the tossing. Nobody asked her to do that. I want to be clear, nothing happens between me and Anita Jarrett. Not a look, not a word, not a gesture that crosses any line. But the contrast lands like a brick to the chest. A woman I see 3 times a week treats my pain as real. The woman I've shared a bed with for 9 years treats it as an inconvenience. Physical therapy table. Staring at the ceiling tiles. The fluorescent light buzzing. 30 seconds where I can't move and don't want to. Then back to it. Late September. 2 weeks post-surgery. I'm at the kitchen table with my laptop, working through a supply chain audit for a client in Little Rock. Bertie comes home. Heels on hardwood. Drops her bag on the counter. Rodney presented to the full board today. Standing ovation. That's impressive. He wore this navy suit, custom, obviously. The whole office was talking about it. I keep typing. Sounds like he's doing well. Don't you want to know more? About his suit. She grabs an apple from the bowl. Bites into it hard. You know what your problem is, Tommy? You don't compete. You don't even try. I run a business, Bertie. Competition is what I do. Sitting at a desk in your pajamas isn't competing. I close my laptop. Look at her. My business paid 80% of the mortgage last year. From this desk. In these pajamas. She stops chewing. That one landed. But she recovers fast. Bertie always recovers fast. I'm just saying. Some men have ambition. They show up. They're visible. I'm visible to the people who matter. Are you? She leaves the apple on the counter. Half-eaten. Goes to the guest room. Hers now. And closes the door. Here's what Bertie does. She keeps score. Every mistake I've made in 9 years is filed away, organized, cross-referenced. The time I forgot her mother's birthday. The trip I canceled for a client emergency. The Christmas present that was practical instead of romantic. She pulls these out during arguments like index cards, reads them back to me like evidence. My efforts, the taxes I file, the house I maintain, the business that funds everything, those are invisible. You can't weaponize something you refuse to see. October. She stops coming home for dinner. Texts at 10:30. Drinks with the team. Late meeting. Don't wait up. I eat alone. The silence in the house is a specific kind, not peaceful, not lonely. Mechanical. Like the house is running without a driver. One Wednesday, she comes home at 11. I'm reading in the living room. She sees me and stops. You're still up? Couldn't sleep. The tossing? First time she's mentioned my back in 6 weeks. I look at her, really look. She's testing something. There's a softness in her voice I haven't heard since before the surgery. Something like that. She sits on the arm of the couch. Close, but not touching. I've been thinking. Maybe we should go somewhere. A weekend trip. Just us. Where? Eureka Springs. That bed and breakfast we talked about. For a second, 1 second, I see her. Not the version that leans into Rodney at mixers. Not the version that keeps score. The version that once drove 2 hours in a rainstorm because I sounded tired on the phone. That Bertie. That sounds nice, I say. She smiles. Touches my knee. Gets up. Walks to the guest room. She never mentions the trip again. Not the next day, not the next week. It evaporates like it never happened. And I understand, the offer wasn't real. It was a gauge. She wanted to see if I'd light up. If I'd chase. Another test, another measurement. I didn't light up. Another data point for Flora's experiment. The following Thursday, Flora posts an Instagram story. I don't follow Flora, but Nettie, my sister, sends me a screenshot. It's Bertie and Rodney. A booth for 2 at a place called The Hive. No team. No meeting. Just them. Rodney's arm along the booth behind her. I call Nettie back. How long has this been going on? The dinners? I've seen 3 posts in the last month. Always just them. And you're just now telling me? I'm telling you now because I couldn't stay quiet anymore. Tommy, you need a lawyer. I need information first. You need Willard Jessup is what you need. Family law. Works out of Rogers. He handled Carla Edmonds' divorce. You remember that mess? I remember. Call him. Tomorrow. I call him that night. Thanksgiving. Travis Hargrave's house in Rogers. Travis is Bertie's father, retired dealership owner, the kind of man who measures people by what they drive. He covered our down payment 10 years ago and has been holding it over every dinner table since. Turkeys carved. Everyone seated. Travis at the head, naturally. So, Bertie. Travis says, cutting his meat without looking up. How's that Rodney fellow? Sounds like a real go-getter. Maybe you should have held out. Bertie laughs. Not uncomfortable, delighted. Like her father just told a clever joke. I stand up. Collect the plates. Start washing dishes. Nettie finds me at the sink. You heard that. I heard it. And I'm washing dishes. Tommy, I've been meeting with Willard Jessup for 3 weeks. I'm fine. Nettie goes quiet. Puts her hand on my shoulder. Goes back to the table. December. Tuesday night. I'm in the kitchen, drying dishes. My hands know this routine better than most things in my life now. Bertie's standing in the doorway. She's been building to something all week. I can feel it the way you feel a storm system on a radar map. The pressure drops before the wind hits. I have options, you know. I keep drying. Set the plate in the rack. Pick up the next one. I said I have options. I heard you. And I look at her. Use them. The kitchen goes still. She's waiting for the explosion, the raised voice, the slammed cabinet, the desperate plea. The script Flora wrote. The one where I fall apart and prove I care. None of it comes. That's all you have to say? What else is there? She stares at me for 10 full seconds. I can see her recalculating, the way a GPS reroutes when you miss the turn it expected. Then she walks out. But here's what I need you to understand. My use them wasn't a chess move. It wasn't calculated or rehearsed. It came from a place I didn't fully understand until later, the same place that watched her walk to the guest room with a pillow while I couldn't unbuckle my own brace. I wasn't playing a game. I was done playing hers. And it broke something in Bertie's engine. Within a week, she's checking my phone while I'm in the shower. I know because the apps are in different positions when I pick it up. Bertie alphabetizes by instinct. I organize by frequency. She checks my laptop, my car mileage, my email. Finds nothing. She calls Flora. I hear it through the guest room wall, the one she chose 3 months ago. He doesn't care at all, Flora. I told him I have options, and he said use them. Like it was nothing. Flora's voice, tinny through the phone speaker. Or he already checked out. Have you thought about that? Silence. No, Bertie says. Quiet. Almost a whisper. No, he wouldn't. But she doesn't sound sure. And for the first time since I've known her, Bertie Jennings feels the ground shift under her feet. Not because of what I did, because of what I didn't do. January. Willard Jessup's office. 6 weeks of meetings by now. Willard is methodical, like me. We work well together. The house, he says, flipping through documents. Purchased through your LLC. Her father covered the down payment, but the deed and mortgage are your entities. Travis wanted it that way. Protect the family assets, his words. He demanded the prenup too, correct? Insisted on it. Before the wedding. Said he didn't want his daughter's future tied to the computer guy's income. Willard smiles. That prenup protects your business, your LLC, and the property held in the LLC's name. Your income from consulting is separate property under the agreement Travis himself drafted. He didn't read what he signed. He read what he wanted to see. Most people do. I sit with that for a moment. 9 years of Travis calling me the computer guy. 9 years of Thanksgiving jabs and Rodney comparisons. And the document he waved around like a weapon is a shield, pointing the other direction. But here's what I need you to understand. I didn't start seeing Willard because of Rodney. Not because of Flora's loyalty test or the Instagram posts or Bertie's option speech. I made the decision the night after surgery. September. The night she said, I'm not your nurse, and moved to the guest room while I couldn't buckle my own brace. That was the night I understood. Not that she didn't love me. Maybe she did, in whatever way she knew how. But her version of love had a condition I could never meet. The condition was that my needs couldn't exist. My pain couldn't be real. My recovery couldn't inconvenience her schedule. February. Bertie's been spiraling for weeks, checking my schedule, asking where I'm going, who I'm meeting. She's sweet one day, cold the next. Tuesday she makes dinner, candles on the table, the works. I made your favorite, she says. Chicken parmesan. The recipe she used to make in year 2, when we'd eat on the porch and talk until the wine was gone. It's good. Thank you. That's it. What do you want me to say? I want you to be here, Tommy. Present. Like you used to be. I set my fork down. For 3 months you lived in this house like I was furniture. You told me you had options. You laughed when your father compared me to your coworker. You said you weren't my nurse while I couldn't dress myself. And now you made chicken parmesan and you want me to act like we're fine. That's not fair. None of this is fair, Bertie. I'm not the one who made it that way. She cries. Real tears. I can tell the difference by now. Bertie's performance tears come with words. Her real tears come with silence. She sits at the table and they just fall, and she doesn't wipe them. And something in me almost breaks. Almost. Because I remember this version of her, the one from year 2, the one who cried at the animal shelter because she couldn't adopt all the dogs, the one who held my hand during my mother's last week. She's in there. Somewhere under the promotions and the status signaling and Flora's loyalty tests. But then Thursday, I come home from therapy. She's on the phone with Flora. Doesn't hear me come in. He's being impossible. Won't react. Won't fight. Won't do anything. Some Anita woman keeps showing up in his phone, probably some trainer type. I should just take Rodney up on dinner and see how Tommy likes that. I stand in the hallway. Keys in hand. Coat still on. The slip. Every time. Just when you think the version you married might still be in there, she reminds you she left a long time ago. I walk into the kitchen. She sees me. Knows I heard. Tommy, don't. It's not what. It's exactly what it sounded like. It always is. I go to the home office. Close the door. Sit in the dark for a while. Kitchen counter. 3 a.m. Standing there with a coffee mug going cold in my hands. Not thinking. Just standing. Then I wash the mug. Go back to bed. The guest room bed. Mine now. Next week, Bertie tries again. Different approach this time. She comes home with groceries, the expensive kind, from the market on Dixon Street. She's making dinner. Real dinner. She's humming. I got that sourdough you like. From the place on the square. Thank you. And I was thinking, maybe we should talk. Really talk. About us. I lean against the counter. Okay. I know I've been distant. The promotion, the new team, it's been a lot. And maybe I haven't been. She pauses. Looks at me with those eyes, the ones that used to mean something. I haven't been a good wife. The words sit in the air between us. And part of me, the part that remembers year 2, that remembers her hand in mine at my mother's bedside, that part wants to reach across and take her hand. I appreciate you saying that. I mean it, Tommy. I know you think you do. Her face shifts. What does that mean? It means I've heard this before. And then Thursday comes, and Flora calls, and Rodney gets mentioned at dinner, and we're right back where we started. That's not fair. I'm trying to be honest with you. Honest would have been 6 months ago, when I was on the floor in a back brace, and you chose a good night's sleep over helping your husband get undressed. She goes still. The humming is gone. The sourdough sits untouched. You can't hold that over me forever. I'm not holding anything. I'm describing what happened. You're punishing me. No, Bertie. I'm just not pretending anymore. She puts the groceries away in silence. Doesn't make dinner. That night I hear her on the phone again. Doesn't matter with who. The pattern is the pattern. 2 weeks later. Mid-February. Saturday morning. I'm working at my desk. Bertie comes in without knocking. She's holding my phone. Found it on the charger. Who is Anita Jarrett? My physical therapist. Why is she in your contacts? Because she's my physical therapist. You have 15 texts from her. Appointment confirmations and exercise reminders. You can read every one. She doesn't read them. She doesn't want information. She wants ammunition. Is there something going on with this woman? I stand up. This is the moment. Not the one I planned. The one that arrives because it's time. Anita Jarrett is the woman who asked how my back was healing. Every session. For 5 months. Bertie stares at me. She brought me a lumbar pillow because she noticed I wasn't sleeping. She adjusted my exercises when she saw I was hurting. She noticed when my left side was weak and asked what was wrong. I take a breath. You never asked. Not once. In 5 months of recovery from spinal surgery, you never once asked how my back was healing. The room is completely silent. The kind of silence that has weight. You feel it in your ribs. Bertie's face changes. Not anger. Not tears. Something underneath both. The look of someone who just realized the building they were standing in has no foundation. Tommy, I I've been meeting with Willard Jessup since October. You're leaving me? You left first, Bertie. September. You just did it one room at a time. That's not, Tommy, I made mistakes. I know that. But you can't just, you told me you had options. I told you to use them. You treated that like a challenge. I meant it as a fact. I was scared. Flora said. Flora said a man who loves you would drag Rodney outside. Flora engineered the whole mixer. And you let her. Bertie's mouth opens. Closes. She didn't know I saw that text. September. On the kitchen counter. How long have you known about that? Since the morning after. And you never said anything? I was paying attention, Bertie. That's what I do. 9 years of marriage compressed into 30 seconds of silence. She reaches for her phone. Calls Travis. Of course she calls Travis. 20 minutes later my phone rings. Now you listen to me, son. Travis's dealership voice, the one that closed deals and crushed salesmen for 30 years. I put money into that house. I put money into that marriage. You think you can just walk away? I'll make this very expensive for you. Travis, do you remember the prenup? What about it? The one you demanded. Before the wedding. To protect your family's assets. Silence. That prenup protects my consulting firm, my income, and the house, which is held in my LLC. The one you insisted the mortgage go through, because you didn't want your daughter's name on debt with the computer guy. The longest silence Travis Hargrave has produced in 63 years. Your document, Travis. Your lawyer drafted it. Your terms. He hangs up. Doesn't call back. 9 years of the computer guy, and the computer guy read every document Travis didn't. Bertie stands in the hallway. She heard my side of the call. Her father, the man who was supposed to fix this, the man who fixes everything, just went silent. He can't help you. I say, not cruel, just true. Tommy, please. You said you weren't my nurse. You said you had options. You laughed at Thanksgiving when your father said you should have held out for Rodney. I keep my voice level. Steady. The way you read a manifest, line by line. Every one of those was a choice. You made them. I'm making mine. I didn't mean, you meant all of it. You just didn't think it would matter. She sits down on the hallway floor. Not dramatic, just sits. Like her legs decided they were done. And she looks up at me with an expression I've never seen. Not the performance, not the calibration, not the Flora coach version. Something raw and frightened and very, very tired. I don't know how to be alone, she says. You've been alone for months, Bertie. You just had company while you did it. March. The paperwork moves quietly. Willard handles it. Clean and methodical, like unpacking a distribution chain. Every piece goes where it belongs. Bertie moves back into Travis's house in Rogers. Guest room. The one she chose, just in a different house. Nettie calls the day it's done. How are you? Driving to Jake's Lake cabin. 2 hours north. No reception up there. I know. Tommy, you're going to be okay. I know that too. I park at the cabin around sunset. Drop my bag. The air smells like pine and lake water and absolutely nothing else. No candles, no chicken parmesan, no performance. Just a porch and a sky full of nothing that needs managing. First full night of sleep in 3 years. Turns out the tossing and turning was never the disc. It was the house. She said I wasn't paying attention. 9 years, and she never once considered I was paying attention to everything. I just wasn't performing for the audience. Dear listeners, that's our ending. If it resonated, subscribe to support the channel. See you next time.